Record. And it is so good to see everybody. We're missing a couple, but that's okay. Get healthy, everybody. Today is, I cannot believe it's the 23rd of March already. And we are not going to be sitting here staring at the screen. We're actually going to be sharing quite a bit, I hope, here in just a few minutes. But today's agenda for Success Connect Mastermind is, first of all, I want to welcome you and just say, can't believe how fast time is going. Can't believe it, although there's little flowers out. Crocuses are those, I think that's what they are. Really beautiful little yellow, I don't know, it blows my mind. It's time for flowers, yay! Yes, pretty cool. We are going to go through our commitments that we had for last week. And we'll talk about that. I know Margaret wasn't here, and we have a couple of people that aren't here now, so we'll get into the rhythm of this. We're going to go through our life purpose statements, and we'll dig into that a little bit more. And number 3 principle today is decide what you want. I made a couple notes, make a list, your inner GPS, and then we're going to wind it up with the accountability for next week. So we're always going to check in on our commitments from last week at the beginning of the meeting. And then we'll, at the end of the meeting or toward the end, we will spend a little bit of time sharing and coming up with what we're going to be accountable for next week. So wanted to share that. And just one more time today, we're going to talk very probably not real long about it, but deciding what you want. But we're first going to hit on the life purpose statement. But even before that, we're going to talk about the commitments from last week. So I'm going to stop the sharing and we're just going to come back and Jim's getting his car fixed. So if you see his logo on the screen, it's because he's hanging out with the car people. It says he's multitasking. So I did put it out there, my life purpose statements, and we've been talking, we're going to do the commitments first. Commitments. And so does anybody remember, does anybody want me to remind you about what you said last week? And if you weren't here, Margaret, that's okay. We'll start you fresh and it'll be great. Anybody know what they had said last week?
I don't remember making any commitment other than maybe I said I would work on my life purpose statement, but that's.
Well, I have a feeling that might have been on everybody's list because nobody sent me one. So I'm assuming that everybody's kind of and it's not struggling, but it's finding the right words. Linda, you actually were getting acclimated with your Mac.
Oh, yes. Okay, I did that. I am still doing that. I will be doing that for a long time to come, but I have found many buttons on this thing.
Well, and I know Angie's a pro at the Mac, right?
Oh, no, not a pro, but sorry. I walked a year and a half in your shoes. So
yeah, it's really different, but
yeah.
I am for the most part enjoying it. Sometimes I lose things and I don't know where they went. And
me too.
Yeah.
Still happens.
Yeah.
And so it's all user. I mean, if we learned it properly, it's a great machine, really. But it's all just learning where it is and taking the time. I know there's YouTube and all kinds of places to learn all the ins and outs, but you only have so much time to work on that kind of stuff when you have a business to run, right?
Right.
Exactly. And to work with people like me that need a lot of help. So yeah, she's got a little bit of a pass on some of that for a while because she's working with it and doing the business. So Linda, that was yours. And it sounds like you told me earlier you are working on it and you're finding, and you were traveling a little bit in there too. So
yeah, it was very busy, but yeah, instead of watching TV, I watch instructional videos on how to use my computer.
Doesn't that sound like fun?
Actually, I'm nerdy enough that I kind of enjoy it. So
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there is a certain amount of, oh, I figured it out. Now I know what I'm doing. Now I want to do it all, and it's late at night or whatever.
yeah.
So cool. Okay. Well, so it sounds like you were fairly successful and working on it every day. What we did last week, Margaret, we came up with something that we would be held accountable for this week. So we're going to start out every meeting with that.
Okay.
And by the end of the meeting, hopefully everybody will have something new so that we're always moving toward, moving beyond where we are. And it may be very small little increments. I don't know if Jim can hear me, but we'll go with Angie. Do you remember what you told me?
Yeah, I have a CRM and I committed to by today having all the tasks that I set for myself for this past week done, and I am done except for 5. So there are still 5. There are 5 reach outs or follow-ups that I have in my workspace, my dashboard for today. So it's hard to do them every day, but I do like 2 or 3 days a week. That's one of the things that I'm doing, is literally just going through each person, sending the email, whatever the follow-up was. But yeah, the CRM is a game changer.
Okay. So when you're saying 5 follow-ups, you're talking like 5 individuals?
Yeah, people.
Okay.
So basically you set tasks related to a contact, and every time you have a message, an email, or a conversation, no matter what it's about with that person, you record it in there, and then you set the task for however far out, even if there's nothing to really do. It's just to stay in contact. It's so that all these people that you meet don't fall through the cracks and you go, oh my gosh, it's been a year and I never followed up with her after we had that conversation about whatever it was.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So
and every day I go in and I have my list of tasks that were set for that day.
I see. Okay.
Getting through them and then resetting it so that they don't fall off for this next, month.
Exactly. Okay. Because when you said except for 5, I was like, wait a minute, is that people or is that individual thing? But it's people.
Yeah. And it's nice because like tomorrow's will come up, but today's that I didn't get to will be on that list as well.
Oh, wow. That
it's
could
not
really...
like you lose them. It says 6 days on there, meaning 6 days ago is when you were going to do this task, but it's still in news.
So it's making you feel really bad.
No,
it's feeling really good.
Yeah, I'm not overloaded at this point. I mean, I can imagine the more contacts you put in there, the more tasks you have, and it can feel, oh my gosh, I have 30 of them that I haven't touched. But right now I'm still in the process of putting more people in too. In fact, that's what my accountability will be for this next week, is how many am I adding to the CRM? So.
Okay, cool. Well, that sounds like you were successful then. Jim, are you there? If he jumps, he had, there he is. Hey, Jim.
I'm outside. There's a lot of people inside, so it's kind of awkward to talk. So I'm outside in the cold talking. It's rainy out here.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I bet it is. So how did you do on your email to teachers, your newsletter? Did you get it?
Well, what I've done is I've tried to create a format for that still, because there's more than email. I have to come up with a application and a contract too. So
okay.
When I get that, I don't want to start bringing people in and not have anything. So
right.
I'm also trying to motivate our beta members. So I've created an extra free gift that they can get when they order it on the website, which gives them a chance to try out our ordering process. So that's what I got done.
Wasn't that something that you guys were talking about last week, or were you talking about that in your TTR group? Somebody was talking about that, incentivizing your.
I kind of came up with the idea. I think, the TTR group, we're doing a mastermind. So.
Yeah, good for you. Cool. Yeah. Isn't that funny how you think it's one task, and then when you really get into it, it's like multiple tasks, but you wouldn't identify it if you didn't, think it was, you know what I mean? So I don't know, Margaret, if that makes sense. My task was tagging 1,400 contacts
Wow. Wow.
Laughing because I didn't get it done. Now, actually, I'm making headway. I don't know. Linda's been helping me quite a bit. So, I mean, not necessarily tagging them, but there is a lot when you get in, and I know Angie's got her CRM, so I don't know, Angie, when I say all this stuff, I don't know if I'm saying something that you do understand, but we have people that, are members, people who are leaders, people who are, perspective. I mean, it's all these different tags I've gone in and trying to make sense. And we're now doing, I am trying to send out, I have been sending out an email every week to everybody, but we do have some things now that are just going to be TTR members. There will be some emails that'll go out. It'll make my life so much easier. Where it's just going to be leaders, and it's going to be maybe prospects, and it's, so the 1,400 might have been it isn't gigantic, but it's also, a lot of these people won't fall into any of those either. So what I'm really trying to do is be for, thanks, Jim. What I'm really trying to do is really focus on the ones that, like our members, first of all. I know I send it out to the whole email, and I'm adding more. I don't know if I told Linda that, but there's a lot of people that I, for some reason or another, kind of haven't been added. They've been added to one or two of the things I was doing before, but now I'm putting them all together in one through Linda's program. I don't know if you're all following me, but I'm working on it. I would not say, I'm probably more than halfway done with the majority of it. It's just what I find is I'm going in and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never put that person in that. I never did this, and I know that the time is it's pain in the butt, but when I get it done, it'll be well worth the time. So, okay, so what we will do, and I don't know that Nicole, I haven't talked to her about it, and Danielle, Nicole was doing a newsletter, and we'll ask her about that next week. And Danielle was going to start working on a funnel boot camp is what I wrote down. So we'll have to get clarification from her. I know she was saying a lot about that last week, where she was trying to figure out how to funnel people in, right, to the boot camp. I think she talked to Linda briefly about that. But anyway, so what we're going to do then is we're going to start out talking just briefly about our life purpose statement. Did anybody, anybody have one they want to share? This is kind of like your mission statement. And I
can share mine.
Thank you. You're a good person, Linda. I don't know about
I'll jump in. It doesn't, yeah. So what it ended up being is my purpose is to use my resilience and drive to support and inspire others in reaching their next level of health, wholeness, and well-being.
Yay. Okay. So I told Margaret this yesterday, and I did not tell the story the right way. And Linda and I were trying to figure out how she told me this, but when Linda was talking about things last week, that was really good. I think the word drive is the word I'm missing. I think drive is the word. So I don't know. Anyway, when you said that, I'm like, well, she used it. I can use drive.
Sure.
But Linda and I were talking, and Margaret said something. We were talking about it yesterday. Sometimes not Linda. Last week, Linda was talking about passion, profit, and purpose, right, and how they kind of intersect. But sometimes you do things for profit that you don't necessarily, right? You presented. Yep. So, and sometimes, but they do intersect. But what were you sharing earlier? I said to you, how did you connect that? I don't remember. I told you, I don't think I shared it the right way.
So sometimes we have, we end up having to do things that we don't necessarily enjoy, but it's still part of our value system. Like, and so I added values to it, right?
Yes.
And one of my values is living in a clean and healthy environment. And so that can include even having to clean the toilet, which I'm not excited about cleaning the toilet, but I can keep my energy level high for it, and my, like, yeah, I'm gonna do this because it's part of what I value. It's part of how I want to live my life. And so, yeah, I'm gonna do the things that support my values, and that includes living in a clean and healthy place. And that means cleaning the toilet.
So when it came down to basically cleaning the toilet, I was like, I tried to tell you that, Margaret, yesterday. I don't think I related quite the way that Linda did. I don't know. I was like,
Not quite. We got the toilet part.
Yeah.
sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do, but you know that it works toward the ultimate goal, or your values is exactly what you said. So anyway, I thought that was funny. While Linda was talking, I thought I'd just, sometimes we have to do a lot of things we don't love doing. And I think we talked about that yesterday, Margaret, because
Yes.
you've done a lot of things. Did you find, Angie or Margaret, Jim, I don't think he necessarily has it. Did you find, Margaret, though, you said you were looking for your life purpose statement?
I've not found it yet. I had 2 other Zooms to get on. So hopefully this evening I'm going to be able to do it.
Okay.
'Cause like I told you, I was looking under mission statement because I know I have a purpose statement or a mission statement. I just don't know. Once I save something, it's like, what did I put it under?
Yeah.
So when you find it, yes, please share it with us, or feel free to, but Angie, you look like you might have one. Do you have one?
I do not have a statement. I can tell you what I did. So the worksheet,
Mhm.
I did number 1, number 2, number 3, but combining those into a single statement has been kind of challenging.
It is a challenge, isn't it?
I am practical to a fault, which is why I named my Facebook group Playful and Practical. What I seek to do in relationships is offer practical, helpful tips for their lives. And that can be in a lot of formats. I find people coming to me for advice on parenting daughters because being practical and extremely logical, while it can be a hindrance in many ways, when it comes to dramatic teenage girls, it's actually very, very helpful to be that way. So providing those are some of the things that I provide. When it comes to my skincare business, what's not practical about clean ingredients that actually work, like you're getting your money's worth, but also a routine, a regimen can kind of feel like, ugh, I have to do this, and ugh, it's going to take so much time, and ugh, I don't know what product does what. And I can make that very practical and easy to fit into someone's life.
Okay.
Just all the things, like, just kept coming up with genuine desire to help other women, wives, and mothers solve common issues. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, so I think that's great. Actually, if you guys, I told Linda earlier, and I told Margaret, I think, I did not do it. And I told Angie this. I didn't do it for a couple of years, even though I was telling everybody else, do you have your why? Do you know it? I was afraid to put it down on paper, like I'm afraid to do most things when I put it on paper. But this last one, and I shared mine a number of times, but okay, the other day we had one of our he's an insurance guy, and he said something about the end of it was working toward their financial goals and whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, but kind of what we're all saying is we want to help people. And we found that particular area that we're doing it in. I don't know that, he was reading, I asked everybody, do you have a mission statement? He goes, well, yeah, our company's mission statement. Is that your mission statement? I mean, really, and why do you do what you're doing? And it not to reflect on, do you really love I hated insurance, but that was me. But maybe he does love insurance. Maybe it really does. But I think in the bottom of it, or at the end of it, we're all really happy to help people. And we found that vehicle in what we're doing. And I think, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but we are finding the way to do it through what we're doing in our lives. And if we're not, then we're finding something else. Or we find, we go on. And Margaret, you said 2 weeks ago, why would you not enjoy what you're doing? I think something like that, right?
Yeah, right. Why keep doing something you don't truly enjoy doing it for 20, 30, 40 years?
Yeah. Yes. So how many people are out there that I hear all the time, I did insurance for a while. I hated it, but there are a lot of people that say, I tried it for a while, didn't like it. They ended up in some other thing and they were helping people and they liked that better because it made them happy. So anyway, I guess I would just say when you're doing these, I don't know if I actually read mine. You guys have seen it before, but when you're doing these, I think it's something you really have to take some time and think, is that what you do? I mean, the words, what was the word that came up? There was a word, I feel very compelled, but my mom, who's an English teacher, said, but don't use the word compulsion. That's a negative. Don't do that. I was like, you have to be really kind of, when we're talking about drive, I think that's a good, you know what I mean? I'm compelled to help people, but that can almost be negative. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling like you have to say it for yourself, and then you have to recognize, is it a good thing or a bad thing? But the bad thing, that's not a big deal. I'm just saying everybody has to have their own. If you look at Jack Canfield and you go out and look for his sounds really, really fluffy and but what he does in his world is that is what he does when you really get down to the nitty gritty. So anyway, these evolve. Don't feel like you have to have it all figured out. Margaret, when you get it, when you bring it back and share it, and I'm hoping that Danielle and Nicole will have them as well. Jim, do you have yours? Can you hear us? Don't want to miss him if he's got one, but he may not hear us.
He has a mission.
I can hear you.
Okay, what's your mission?
I put it in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Okay, so, and you know what? Jim is not writing down some companies. This is truly what Jim wants to do. At this point, this is what Jim wants to do. I think we're always struggling with why do we do what we do? And Jim, you worked where did you work for years? What was your company that you worked for?
I worked for United Airlines.
Oh, United Airlines. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you always have this drive to help kids with STEM?
I started that in 2006, I think.
Okay.
When I started teaching.
But you've always, I'm sorry, Jim. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like science and math, and I really like that. I worked with my kids, but I actually got started doing that. So before I was doing that, I was doing social media stuff. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
I was called the night surfer.
Did you enjoy that? Did that bring you?
I liked it. It was frustrating because social media was brand new, and I could see the use for it, but it was like trying to convince people. It was really, really hard to do that. Anytime you come up with a new concept that's not out there, people have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
So or a reason why they would need it. If I told you today that you probably don't need social media, you'd think I was crazy, but I couldn't have the funding to promote something like that. It was too big. Same thing when I started STEM. People didn't know what it was. Stem cells popped up every time you Googled STEM. You hardly ever saw anything about it. So it's convincing people the idea. But now it's becoming more popular, and I do have a method that's not out there yet. This idea of a platform where all the teachers can come together and all the manufacturers that have to do with STEM. So it's simple for the parents to go to one place instead of fishing around on Pinterest or YouTube. Usually that makes it more difficult. So that's kind of what my goal is. I
Cool.
get this to work.
Cool. Well, and I've been very fortunate to see you at or near the beginning and see where you are now. And I don't know that everybody on this call has been able to do that. So I'm excited to see where you are. And I was telling Linda earlier that I just think it's really cool because I didn't know where you were in all of this. And bottom line, I think we all just want to make people's lives a little easier and help them with, there's certain things we're all a little bit more, my strength is I feel driven. I don't like it if somebody promises me something or tells me they're going to do something and they don't do it. I'd not have told you that, Margaret. That's true. I just, I get really, I feel like I've just, even if the person completely forgets about it, in the back of my mind, so that's where I feel like that drive thing. But anyway, okay. So what I did want to bring up really quickly, and I want to read this and then we can talk about it. That mission purpose statement thing, I think it's an evolving thing. Angie, when you added your wine and you started the get the glow on thing, get your glow on, is like, it opens, it's just so cool. And when you were saying even though you don't have it as a whole statement yet, or if but what you said was really good. I really like what you said.
Thank you.
You're not, and it's not just, you happen to be very good at makeup and that's what, but you're helping people in so many ways that aren't even that now. You've got so much, anyway. Okay, so number 3, let me really, really, really quickly read this, and then I want to throw some ideas out at you, and let's talk a little bit about this. Number 3 principle is decide what you want. And really the main principle here, or the main concept is most people don't get what they want because they haven't decided what they want. They haven't defined their desires in clear and compelling detail. So number 3 is once you accept responsibility is number 1. Number 2 is be clear why you're here. And then number 3 is basically, deciding what you want and then putting it in front of yourself and saying, I'm going to get it, basically. So this is some of the information. I just want to read a couple things. Inside every one of us is a tiny seed of the you that you were meant to become. Unfortunately, you may have buried this seed in response to your parents, teachers, coaches, and other adult role models as you were growing up. You started out as a baby knowing exactly what you wanted. You knew when you were hungry. You spit out food you didn't like and avidly devoured the ones you did. You had no trouble expressing your needs and wants. You simply cried with no inhibitions or holding back until you got what you wanted. You had everything inside of you that you needed to get fed, or you had everything inside of you that you needed to get fed, changed, and held. As you got older, you crawled around and moved toward whatever was the most interesting thing. You were clear about what you wanted and you head straight for it with no fear. So what happened? Well, somewhere along the way, someone said, what? Don't touch that. Keep your hands to yourself. Eat everything on your plate, whether you like it or not. You don't. I hear my mother and father, or I hear myself saying this to my kids. You don't really feel that way. You don't want that. You should be ashamed of yourself. Stop crying. Don't be such a baby. And as you got older, you can't have everything you simply want because you want it. Money doesn't grow on trees. Stop being selfish. And there's many, many more, as you know, but don't, after living, and I'm looking at our group here, and I'm not sure that everybody, I don't know if you're in that still, or if you've decided, I think most of us have probably decided to get past that. But I think back on my childhood, I used to love to write. I wrote stories all the time. I'm a musician. I used to sing songs, and I think I would have written songs, but it's somewhere in the way, somebody told me there were a bunch of English rules that you can't write like that. Somebody told me there were rules to writing music. So I don't do either one of those. I sing other people's music. I read books, but I don't write. I directed Cinderella in 5th grade. Come on. I did all that kind of stuff. It was my own version. We sang Johnny Angel in it. Don't even ask me. But anyway, when I think about it, what stopped me from doing a lot of that stuff was because people made me, I became aware there were rules, and there were, you know, you were getting, let's see, we learned how to act and how to be, and how to get approval. We wanted approval. We now do a lot of things we don't want to do, but it was to please other people. We go to medical school, not that you did, Margaret, but not, you know, we went to medical school to please our dad, or we got married to please our mother, or we got a real job instead of pursuing our dream career in the arts. My dad told me I had to be a teacher. You can't go and sing. Nobody's going to hire you. I mean, not, but that kind of in a way says you're not good enough. You might as well, you know, and then along the way, people would say, you have to teach. Everybody can teach. You can't, you know. My dad still doesn't quite know what to do when I'm singing in an event. I mean, he's usually he's very nice, but I still don't think he understands what it's about. But anyway, yeah, we would go straight to graduate school instead of taking a year off and backpacking through Europe. Anybody get to backpack a year through Europe? Did you get to do it? No. Okay. Nobody's looking like that. So anyway, there's a lot here we could read, but there's a lot I can read, but there's the should-haves, ought-tos, and you better pile up, or different things that kind of pile up on top of you and suffocate what your real desires are. So, and how do you reclaim yourself and your true desires? How do you get back to what you really want with no fear, shame, or inhibition? How do you reconnect with your real passion? Some of you may already be doing that. I mean, I feel like your life purpose statements are, you're getting really close. But to get really clear, you need to reclaim your power and get what you really want out of life. You have to stop saying, I don't know, I don't care, or it doesn't matter to me. I say that all the time. I'm going to stop saying it. Okay, you're all going to hold me accountable. No more. So what do we do? Okay, so one of the things that Jack Canfield suggests is writing a list of 30 things you want to do, 30 things you want to have, and 30 things you want to be before you die. So I want you to spend a little bit of time thinking about that. So I basically want to do these 30 things. I want to have these 30 things, and I want to be these 30 things before you die. Now, later in his training, he talks about coming up with 100 bucket list. That's really tough. But 30 is not easy either. But thinking of, what do you want to do? What do you want to have? If nothing were in your way, what do you want to do? What do you want to have? And what do you want to be before you die? So I'm throwing that out there. And I'm telling you, yeah.
I think when I think about these things, it's not, I know what a bucket list is, and it's I want to do this.
Yes.
I want to do this.
So this is a little different.
When I think about that, instead of thinking 30 things I want to do, I imagine what my life looks like.
Yeah.
So we have a home, probably a smaller home somewhere in the Midwest, depending on where our daughters land, so that we can be there for grandchildren. We have another piece of property somewhere where the grandkids can ride their motorcycles, motocross. We have probably 4 times a year where we travel to Cabo or Arizona or our favorite vacation places over the years. And we just do that. It's cyclical. We just do it like regular. We, both of us are still able to work our businesses without being captured in a territory. We can work from anywhere.
Yep.
Those businesses get to the point where it doesn't require a whole lot of on hours because we've built it to the point where it's residual. Like those are the things,
Exactly.
you know, I'm getting my pilot's license. My husband's going to get his. We own a plane and we're able to use that plane to go to all these places that we want to do. So it's more of not the ... list, but
Yep.
it's more, this is what life looks like.
Okay, so that is a really, and I know that Angie's been doing a lot of this kind of stuff for a few years.
Yes, 2021 was huge for what the heck
Yes.
am I going to do with the rest of my life? For me.
Right. So one of the things, and he kind of puts it out of order a little bit, but on our agenda, I put in there your inner GPS. So once and I think what the difference is our group, a lot of you already know what you want. You kind of have that in your mind. But if you never looked at what do you want to do, what do you want to have, what do you want to be, those kind of things, those 30, that it's very good to, I mean, it's, you know, it's kind of scary, but what he goes on to talk about is that the name of the book, if you look at the book, and his whole thing is the success principles, how to get from where you are to where you want to be, is the name of the book. If you get in the book, there's Linda and I were using it earlier for some things we're going to do marketing wise and different things. But he says the process of getting from where you are to where you want to be is like you using a GPS. So global positioning system, the technology in your car or on your smartphone. For the system to work though, think about it, it simply needs to know where you are and where you want to go. The navigation system figures out where you are by the use of the onboard computer that receives signals from 3 satellites and calculates your exact position. When you type in your destination, the navigation system plots a perfect course for you. All you have to do is follow the instructions, right? So he says, success in life works the same way. All you have to do is decide where you want to go by clarifying your vision, like Angie does already. We probably all have that or a little bit. Lock in a destination through goal setting, affirmations, and visualization, which is really what you have as a vision. You know what you want. And then you start moving in the right direction. The inner GPS will keep unfolding your route as you continue to move forward. In other words, once you clarify and stay focused on your vision, which Angie, I've heard you say a couple times a day, but you also said it like last week or something in one of the groups, and you were talking about a house that you were offering on. And I don't know how that turned out, but now I'm hearing, and it's like, what a neat vision she has. And you're not really sitting there thinking about how am I getting there, right? You are, but you're not. You've got it. I mean, and what he's saying is the same thing. Your inner GPS will keep unfolding your route as you continue to move forward. In other words, you clarify, stay focused on your vision, the exact steps will keep appearing along the way. Once you are clear about what you want and keep your mind constantly focused on it, the how will keep showing up. You don't have to have it figured out. And sometimes just when you need it and not a moment earlier. So the vision is what I'm asking you to start thinking about. That was what the inner GPS was. Angie did a great job of setting it up. So our son, really quick, and then we're going to spend a few minutes. I want to throw it out there, but our son is 32 and he has been working really tough jobs for a long time. He works in food service. He has a massage therapy license, and he keeps saying, I just want to own my own business and I want to make enough money, blah, blah, blah. And the other day I told him, no, I'm not saying blah, 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 like doesn't matter. But I said, Adam, sit down and write out what you want and then look at it every day. And I said, don't figure out I got to do this, this, and this, but take it one day at a time, and you have, and actually he and his wife own a house. They're doing things that I said, I bet you've never written it down. Can you think about the power of writing this down and looking at it every day and just taking that next step every day? So anyway, I'm throwing that out to you. What if you really get totally stuck and you're saying, I don't know what to do, think about 30 things you want to do, 30 things you want to have, 30 things you want to be. If you don't want to do that, what is your vision? Maybe you already know what you want. What is your vision? Anybody? And Angie set it up really, really well, because she didn't say, well, in order to do this, my husband and I are going to do this next week or this next month. She just has, how far down the road do you want that to be, Angie?
I don't have an exact time frame, but for everything, all the pieces to be in place, and we did all of this, is by the time all 4 of my girls have a family of their own.
Okay.
And we are home base, whether that's our suburban home in the Midwest or our property or wherever. But my youngest is 11, my oldest is 24. So, within 10 years,
Okay.
something will be set up. I mean, we're looking at property, but that may not be, like, the property that we purchase now may be sold in 3 years and we do something else. But that's my time frame. When all my girls actually have a spouse and maybe kids, maybe not, that's kind of when I want us to be set so that they can benefit from what we've put together.
So thinking about it every day, and looking at it like it's happening, not like, well, maybe. No, it's like, this is okay. So I just want to leave it, and not leave it, but anybody, Linda, Margaret, Jim, what are your thoughts? Any thoughts? What can we help you with anything that you're struggling in your own? And is this a hard thing to do, or is this easy?
I agree with what Angie, the way she looks at it too. It's, my older grandson, he definitely has a bucket list. He's been very strategic about that. He's 27 and he's doing quite well. He worked for Portland Trailblazers. He moved to Portland 5 years ago. He's got a plan. It's hard for me to do a bucket list because I've done a lot of things and pretty much have felt that when I decided to do something, people might have thought I was crazy, but I always did what I wanted to do. And so, And so it's more of my vision. Where do I see this happening, and this happening, and a time frame versus I want to have this, because I'm not materialistic at all.
Right.
So it's really hard for me to pick things out. And I don't just want things like other people do. If that's something I want to do, then that's what I do. So my route will be like Angie's. It's like in 2 years, this will happen, 5 years, and very strategic. Yeah.
So I guess I would say, look at, maybe use 2 years, say 5 years. We'll talk about it in April. We're gonna come back, because next week, Larry Levine. Linda, what do you think? Anything?
Yeah, so I think I often think about it in terms of experiences that I want to have.
Yes. Okay.
What
exactly.
are those experiences? Because the older I get, the less important the material things are. There was a time when I thought that was more important, and now I'm like, I don't care, whatever.
Right.
And so I guess, the other piece in addition to experiences is, what's the impact that I want to have made, when I leave the planet, or just, to feel good about having lived the life that I have lived. What is it going to take to feel good about that? And what sort of impact will I have made? so yeah, so that I feel fulfilled.
Okay, so yeah, that's big. I feel like I don't have any words to say after that. That's pretty big. But and I think that's we're all past the materialistic thing. We're all beyond. So I would challenge you. We're going to go through our commitments for next time we get together. We will be on Larry Levine's call, and I'll say that again and again and again. Don't forget to sign up if you can join us. Please do. And then the next week will be the 1st of April. But challenge you to really think about the vision of what you see. I would say, and use your own time frame. Angie says 10 years. Or probably, but what does that mean? For her, it's 10 years, but do you see something in 5 years? Linda said 2 years, use some different, and we'll come back and we'll chat about that next time. But also what I wanted to do, Jim, I don't know if you can hear me. I hope you're hearing us.
I can hear you.
Okay.
I keep my volume off because a lot of noise out there.
Okay, well, I would it's literally a vision. What is your vision? And it might be, you could say exactly what Linda, what do you want to, in that vision, what do you want to leave? What's your impact? What are you going to make, how, and I think, boy, I used to think if I had all the money in the world, I'd go on trips all the time and I'd buy all the fancy cars. And now I'm like, who needs money? I want to give it to them. I want to make people, because there's so many people who don't have so anyway, but we'll be in April the 6th, and that's accountability month. So it's really convenient that we're starting to talk about, in April, we'll be talking more accountability now that we're masterminding, and accountability are 2 of the top things you should be doing if you're building your business. So let's go back. Accountability. Where can we go from where we've been? What can we do? Something that Margaret, do you have something you would like to? What I'm doing is I'm keeping track. Now, I'm not going to make a big F on your paper or anything. I promise you. She just got finished all the grading. But do you have something you would like to try? Now, this is 2 weeks from now, because I'm not going to worry about next week. We're going to all just love our time with Larry Levine. And he's going to talk about masterminding and his experience with that. But what do you think, Margaret? What would you like us to hold you accountable for next time?
Well, and I'll say it a little bit different. And at first, I didn't understand what Angie was saying, because I thought she said CRM. Then when she said CRM, I got what she was saying. So mine will be similar. I don't have any formal format or anything, but I've been having, I've got this an accountability partner in my business. And so what we've been doing, because, we're embarking on some new things. So I would like to say that I have made 10 new exposures.
Okay.
During that period of time. So yeah.
Well, that's pretty big. And I told Margaret that I don't know how many of us really know about ACN that much. So she's going to have to educate us more.
Yeah.
So because I know there's a lot of good stuff there. Okay, guys, what else? Who wants to give us their
I'll go.
Go, Jim.
I'll go. Okay. I'm going to, for 2 weeks, I should be able to have at least the application and
Wait a minute, Jim. Jim, I can't hear you too well. Say it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm outside because there's too many people inside. I'm going to have that introduction application. I call it a package done for the teachers and the manufacturers. So I'll have that hopefully ready.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. What else, guys?
I will have 25 more contacts in the CS. They might already be in there, but they don't have a task attached to them. So they're just sitting in there.
Okay.
25 more like 5 a day for a 5-day week, more than I have right now, and continue to weekly have all the tasks completed.
Okay. Continue to have more tasks completed? Is that what you're
So
saying?
all daily tasks completed by the end of the week,
All
and
day.
25 more in the, I don't even know what to call it. Like, there's a ton of contacts in there, but if they don't have a task related to them, they don't show up on my workspace. So need to connect a task to 25 more people that are in there.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Combination of people that are in there or new people that I put in there.
Tasks to people. Okay, I got that. Okay. Okay, Linda, what do you think?
So mine's about doing outreach to 5 people a day and offering them profit acceleration roadmap.
Okay, so I will say again and again and again, our TTR members do get that. If you've never sat down with Linda, make sure you do that, because you will probably say, oh my gosh, there's so many things I didn't know. That's what I did. 5 people for profit acceleration roadmap. Okay.
Yeah.
And I will send out this link. Hopefully it'll only be an hour or so. So I'll send it. I mean, recording wise, I'll send it out. I should be able. Jim's helped me a couple times with a couple things, so I will not bug him today. But I am going to continue on my end. Linda keeps giving me all kinds of things to do, so I have a lot of work to do on that. But I am using the CRM system a lot better, and I'm going to continue tagging. But we're going to start. There's a couple things we're going to do where I'm going to be asking people for testimonials and stuff. So thank you, Angie. So I will be, you'll be getting those. I'll be getting, I'm going to get into a better rhythm of emails going out every week and all that kind of thing. So that is, I'm continuing with my CRM work. But if you did not know, next week, Larry Levine. So I will send you a link if you haven't signed up. And I will probably send out the link to you, all of you, even if you don't sign up, just because I want you to have it. But if you know anybody that should join us, it's free. You'll definitely enjoy it. If you've not, I think Linda, you're already signed. I think you're both signed up.
I'm signed up, got my book, got my little goodie bag and everything too. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I can make it, you can think Jennifer's kind of over the top. I'm telling you. Jim, you heard him talk before, didn't you? I think.
Yes, twice.
Okay, so, and he's just
I
a
haven't got
normal.
an autograph book.
Oh, okay, you got his book? Is that what you said?
Yeah, autograph, remember?
Yeah. Well, I did that before he started giving autographed copies on his website away. So it's like, oh my God. But you will definitely enjoy, and he's just a good guy, and you can really, I think he challenged a few of my members to reach out to him after the fact. I think they did. So I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's just like, it's so refreshing, and there's a whole bunch of stuff he'll share. So anyway, thank you. You're all wonderful. If you need anything, let me know. Just work on those visions for the next week. Visions. That sounds funny. Please work on your vision. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. You're wonderful. I will talk to you soon. Bye. I'm going to turn it off. Bye, Jim.